two huge stories. This was, it gets old saying this was the worst day of the Trump presidency. I don't know that this was the worst day of the Trump presidency, but the Sondland testimony, Willie, was absolutely devastating, and losing the reddest of red state, devastating, and watching all of the red bleed out of Virginia. So now it is a completely blue state again after a Trump plea to vote for Republicans there. I mean, this president had three huge strikes against him yesterday.
Yeah, he did. We know it's a huge morning because Steve Kornacki's here.
Yeah.
We know there have been big developments across the country in these elections. But yeah, Matt Bevin, we should say first, very unpopular governor, 34% or so approval rating. But the entire impetus of his campaign was that he was like Donald Trump. He attached himself at the hip to Donald Trump. Donald Trump, of course, came in on Monday night and made that speech. Donald Trump last night after the results came in and Matt Bevin lost, said, well, he lost, but he picked up 15 points just in the last few days after I started talking about him. That's not true, of course, but you know that. He was a Trump candidate. He did get routed in the suburbs of Cincinnati and even started to lose at some of these rural counties that Trump swept up when he won Kentucky by 30 points. Donald Trump won by 30 points in 2016. Donald Trump can't run away from this. Republicans cannot run away from the fact that a Donald Trump-backed candidate probably lost. He has not conceded yet, but probably lost the governorship in a state that President Trump won again by 30 points.
He was an unpopular governor, but unpopular governors and senators lose all the time and win all the time. In this case, though, just looking at the specifics here, what has to be especially difficult for Donald Trump this morning is, and for all Republicans, they have to, here's the thing, before Donald Trump went to Kentucky on that last night and had those stupid shirts that said read the transcript printed up, by the way, which, of course, the document he was talking to said up top, this is not a transcript. It's a stupidity. It's really shocking. And we're sitting there going, how do people get away with it? They don't. Here's the thing. They don't get away with it. He doesn't get away with it. He's going to be impeached. His party lost the biggest landslide vote loss in the history of the United States Republic in 2018 for following him blindly. And then Bevin, get this. Oh, so unpopular. This had nothing to. Bevin was ahead by 5 percentage points in the polls before Donald Trump came to the state. Before Donald Trump came to the state, Donald Trump caused him 5.5, 6 percentage points by that one rally. Think about it. If you're Donald Trump, you're waking up this morning and you know Donald. Donald.
No, yeah.
No, yeah, come here.
Okay.
Get a little closer to the.
He likes to say he doesn't watch.
But he's watching. Come here, Donald.
I know. Okay.
Bevin was ahead, son. He was ahead by 5 points before you went to Kentucky. Right? Look at this.
Messed it all up.
Donald, look at that. I know you don't like reading, Donald, but look,
So
Matt Bevin, R, that stands for Republican. He had 52% before you went and did that rally for him. And you got those poor folks wearing that shirt that said, read the transcript, when the piece of paper itself said, this is not a transcript. Donald, this is not working for you. You should just stay home and watch like those cage fights. Right? Sit down, drink some Tang, the drink of the astronauts, and maybe have some Sanka coffee, stir it up. And this is what happened after you showed up in Kentucky. Donald, my friend, you lost the state for Republicans.
Lost his race.
They said of Bill Clinton in 1994 that some candidates were thinking about putting anti-aircraft guns up along state borders to keep his plane from coming into town to campaign for him. It was a joke, but it's pretty dark humor now for Republicans. Because Donald, he was ahead by 5 points, and then you went there. and he lost because of you.
I think he gets
God.
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. but
Dang, that's hard.
Republicans
Can you believe that?
will watch
No, but can you
these
believe that?
developments.
It's like
yes, I
it's
can.
the reverse Midas touch.
This is Kentucky.
Gold,
we're talking about.
boom.
Yeah, don't do that.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.